Hi besties, welcome to CUT&SEW. Thank you for subscribing, and if you are new here, you're in the right place to be. Please click on the subscribe button, like and comment below. In today's class, I'll be taking you through how to cut and sew this trendy style. So if you look at the style, so there is a pleated area at the bust part and there is a pleated area at the down part of the gown. So I'm going to be using my pattern paper to draft the half length. So I'll be making use of 4 yards to draft the style. So I'll start by drafting the upper part, which is the half length. I'm going to be using my pattern paper to draft it out first, then I'll cut the down parts with my fabric. So I'm going to start by drafting the upper part of the gown. So in this style, we'll be focusing on the front part. If you notice, the gown doesn't have a back body, so we'll be drafting only for the front. So I'm going to fold my pattern paper into two. The next thing I'm going to do is to measure the wideness, that is the width of my pattern. So to determine the wideness of my pattern paper, I'm going to divide the biggest part of the measurement, which is the bust. The bust is 33 divided by 4. That will be 8.25. So when you want to measure the wideness of your pattern or your fabric, ensure you had at least 2 inches extra, just in case. So since it is 11, I'm going to add extra 2 inches. I'm going to take out 13 in the fold. This is 13. I'm going to cut out the. So I'll start by drafting out my starting point, which is also the margin line, so to know where to start my measurement. So make sure the sandpaper is folded properly into 2. So this is my starting point. Then after that, next thing I'm going to do is to measure my shoulder measurements, which is 14. Let me take my, so 14 divided by 2, that's 7. So I'm going to mark 7. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the half length. So the half length is 15. So I'm going to mark 15. So I'll draft it out. After that, I'll draft out my armhole measurements. My armhole measurement is 7 inches, same thing as the shoulder measurement. Then for the chest line measurement, I'm going to also draft out 7 inches. So here, I'll rule out a line to join the point. So I'm going to indicate, so this is my chest line. Then from my shoulder, I'm going to rule the line out to indicate my armhole line. Then I'll rule on it. So this is my armhole line. So the next thing I'm going to determine is my, of course, there is no need for me to determine my bust point because this particular style, the bust area is pleated. I really don't need to point out my bust point. The only thing I'll be needing here is my under bust, which is 13 inches. So I'm going to roll a line on it. So I'm going to cut out the length. This is all I'll be working with. This is my chest line. This is my under bust line. And this is the waistline. This is the half length of the dress. On the under bust line, I'm going to take my bust span. So my bust span is 8. 8 divided by 2, that will be 4. So I'll mark down 4. Then I'll do the same thing on the waistline. I'll take my bust span, then mark down 4. So then I'm going to rule on it. So if you check the style, this particular half length doesn't have a shoulder. It's an off shoulder gown, so it doesn't have a shoulder. So I'm going to deduct 3 inches from my shoulder measurement. So you can see it's already come down by 3 inches. Then another 3 inches I'm going to rule on it to indicate my line. So this is what I'm left with. I'm going to cut this part out. So before then, I'm going to indicate my hole measurement. So I'm going to go in by 0.5. Then here, so half of this 7 inches is 3.5. So I'll note down the 3.5. So I'll move here and go up by 1 inch. Then I'll also go up here by 1 inch also. So then I'm going to place my hammer curve and I'll place my tape on the chest line, take out my bust measurement. My bust measurement is 33, 33 divided by 4, that will be 8.25. Okay. Then I'll move to the waist side. I'll be taking my dart. I'll place my tape on the waistline and mark out 1 inch for the dart. I'm going to take 0.5 on each side, on the right side and also on the left side. Then I'm going to connect it. Okay, so after that I'm going to take my waist measurement. My waist measurement is 26 divided by 4, that will be 6.5, plus the 1 inch I took as that will be 7.5. After that I'm going to cut my pattern. Remember, we are working with this. So the reason why I didn't have sewing allowance is because this particular style doesn't have a back border, so I will only be working for the front. And if you look at the side of the gown, it's top at the side of the front side. So this is what I'll be working with. So for the center front, I'm going to take out 1 inch. I'm going to take out 1 inch. Then I'm going to connect that 1 inch to the under bust line, because I can use my ruler to connect it. Okay, then after that I'm going to cut it out. So this will serve as my band. So after that I'm going to cut out the dart. Place it together. This is going to be for the band. So I want to straighten it out. Okay. Then I'm going to focus on this. So at the down part of the under bust, I'm going to mark out 1 inch. So I'm going to mark out 1 inch throughout. So after that, I'm going to cut out the lines. I'm going to connect it to the upper part. Make sure you don't cut it out. So this is our front upper. So I'm going to be placing this on my fabric. Spread all this apart by 1.5 inch. So this is my fabric. So I'm using my tape to tape it down. So like I said, I will be taking 1.5 inch apart. out 1.5. So I'll be pinning the hook down also. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the fabric. So I'll start by cutting out the upper part, even 0.5. So I'll also be leaving 0.5. With my upper part, I'm going to gather this and also gather this part. So this is my upper part, the gathered part, after cutting out with the pattern. You can see. So I'm going to gather this. So the next thing to do is to cut the under bust and the waistline. So I'm going to fold it out and cut. So I'm going to fold into two. I'm using my fabric to do the lining, so I'm going to double it. You can see. So I'll be adding extra 0.5 for seam allowance. I'm going to notch the upper part of it, which is the under bust. This is the lining. I'll use this one to turn it out. So the next thing for me to do is to cut the skirt part. So if you look at the picture, you can see on the down part of the skirt there is a gathered part. So I'm going to deduct, and since I already deduct 15 from my length is 54 minus 15, the 15 half length I took, that will be 39. So for the down part, the gathered area, I'm going to deduct 15 inches from the remaining 39 inches, so I'll be left with 24. So I'll be folding this into a triangle flip. So I'm going to take out 24 inches for the length of the skirt. So I'll be folding this into 4. After folding, I'm going to connect it to form a triangle flip. So you can see this is the longest part, so I'm going to connect the longest part. I'm going to connect the shortest part to the longest part. So I'm going to form a triangle. So if you look at the skirts, there is no zip allowance for the skirts. Not being putting a zip allowance. So make sure you fold well. So you can see short part is meeting the long part. So I'm going to be cutting the front skirt and the back skirt together. So if you look at the front skirt, you can see it's kind of fitted, and if you look at the back skirt, it's gathered. For that, I will be multiplying by waist measurement by 2 to achieve that gathered at the back. Waist measurement is 26 times 2, that will be 52. So 52 divided by 4, because this is into 4, 13. So I'll be taking 13 inches. So 13 inches plus the length I'll be taking, is 24 after taking out the gathered length and the half length. So I'll be left with 24. So 24 plus the 13 inches taking for the waist, that's 37. So I'll be needing 37 inches to cut down my skirt. So plus sewing allowance, that will be 38. I'll be taking out 38 as my length of the skirt. And so I've already folded well. I'm going to ensure I fold well. Sewing allowance, ½ inch on the top and ½ inch on the down part. That will give me 38. So I'll be taking 38 inches for the skirt. So this is 38. You can see the way I place my tape. I place my tape at the tip part of the tip part of the fabric. Then I'm going to trace it down, take 38 inches throughout. So after that, I'll place my tape here and take out 13 inches for the waist. So this is 13. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to cut it out. And after that, I'm going to divide the skirt into 2. So this is the front, while this is the back. I mean, this is the front skirt. The front part of the skirt is fitted, doesn't have any gathered part, so I'm going to remove the excess I took for the gather of the back. This measurement is 26 divided by 4, that's 6.5. So here I'll be taking out 8 inches just in case. This is the front part of the skirt, and this is the back part of the skirt that has a gathered part. So this is my skirt part. To place the gathered part of the skirt, I'm going to measure the down part. I'm going to fold into 2 and measure the down part of the skirt. So this is 28 and a half times 2, because it's in 2 folds. 28.5 times 2, that will be 57. So I'll have to cut 57 times 2 is 114. So I'll have to cut a straight fabric that has the breadth or the width of 114 inches. So I'm going to do that now. I'll cut it for the back and I'll also cut it for the front. So I'm done with the cutting. This is the gathered part. This is what I'm going to use for the gathered part. The measurements of the down part of the skirt times 2 is what I use to cut my gathered part. So it has a length of 15 inches plus seam allowance. I added 0.5. This is what I'll be using for the gathered part of the skirt. Well, this is the skirt part. Lastly, and this is the front part. So and this is for the rope. I'm going to move on and join everything together and show you the look after sewing. Welcome back, besties. This is the gathered part of the bust area after turning it in with the fabric, and I run a stitch across the top part. So this is where I'm going to insert the rope. You can see. So this is the bust part. Then I'm going to run a gathered stitch along it so that it's going to form together. So I'm going to do that and show it to you. So this is how it looks like after I gathered it to the band part. You can see. So I'm going to move on to attach the front skirt. Then after attaching it, I'm going to show you. Welcome back, bestie. So I have joined the skirt part to the upper part of the gown. So you can see it came out really nice. So this is the skirt. So I'm going to move on to join the back skirt. So I'll come back to show you guys. Welcome back, guys. So this is the gown. I've joined the back skirt, so you can see this is where I'm going to insert my rope, and I'm also going to insert the rope on the upper part. So as you can see, I left 3 inches here and also left 3 inches here. So the next thing is I'm going to move on to gather the pleated part of the skirt to it that I'm going to show you. Welcome back, besties. This is my gown after joining it together. You can see the skirt part. You can see the pleated part of the skirt. And this is the waistband. And this is the bust area. This is the pleated part of the bust area. I attached the rope to it, as you can see. So this is how the back looks like after fixing the rope. The basket also. See you in my next class, besties. I hope you find this class interesting. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Bye.